In the heart of the Middle East, nestled between mountains, deserts, and ancient rivers, lies a land that has shaped human civilization for over 7,000 years. This is Iran, a country that has given the world the first declaration of human rights, some of history's greatest empires, and a cultural legacy that continues to influence our world today. Join us as we journey through the remarkable story of Iran, from the dawn of civilization to the modern Islamic Republic. Our story begins in the fertile plains of southwestern Iran, where one of the world's earliest civilizations took root. Around 3200 BCE, the Elamites established their kingdom in the region of Susa, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. The Elamites developed sophisticated systems of writing, agriculture, and trade that would influence the peoples who came after them. For centuries, the Medes rose to power in northern Iran, uniting various Iranian tribes and establishing the first Iranian Empire around 678 BCE. Their capital, Ecbatana, became a center of culture and power. But it was the Persians, cousins of the Medes, who would transform this region forever. In 559 BCE, a man named Cyrus II ascended to the throne of Anshan, a small Persian kingdom. History would know him as Cyrus the Great. Cyrus began a remarkable campaign of conquest that would create the largest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from Egypt and Libya in the west to the Indus Valley in the east. At its height, the Achaemenid Empire encompassed nearly 44% of the world's population. But Cyrus was not merely a conqueror. He was a visionary ruler who introduced revolutionary ideas. In 539 BCE, after conquering Babylon, Cyrus freed the Jewish people from captivity, an act that would earn him a unique place in the Hebrew Bible, where he is called the Anointed One. The Cyrus Cylinder, often called the first declaration of human rights, proclaimed religious tolerance and fair treatment for all peoples within his empire. Cyrus's son, Cambyses II, conquered Egypt, but it was Darius I who truly consolidated the empire's administrative systems. He divided the empire into satrapies, provinces governed by satraps, and built the famous Royal Road, a network of over 2,500 kilometers that allowed messages and goods to travel across the empire. Darius also introduced a common currency, the daric, and constructed the magnificent capital of Persepolis. Here, ambassadors from dozens of nations gathered to pay tribute to the King of Kings. The empire reached its peak under Darius I and his son Xerxes, remember from the film 300, who famously invaded Greece. Though the Greek wars would ultimately weaken Persia, the Achaemenid legacy endured. Administrative innovations, religious tolerance, and the idea that diverse peoples could coexist under one ruler. In 332 BCE, Alexander the Great conquered Persepolis, burning the grand palace to the ground. But the ideas and culture of Persia would influence the conqueror profoundly. Alexander famously said he wished he could visit Cyrus's tomb to pay his respects.
After Alexander's death, his empire fractured into Hellenistic kingdoms. The eastern provinces, including Iran, fell under the Seleucid dynasty. Greek culture spread, but resistance grew. In 247 BCE, the Parthians, an Iranian people from the northeast, rose in rebellion. They established the Parthian Empire, which would last nearly 5 centuries. The Parthians famously clashed with Rome, with battles that would shape the future of both civilizations. At its height, under Mithridates II, the Parthian Empire stretched from the Euphrates to Central Asia. They perfected the art of cavalry warfare and developed a feudal system that influenced medieval Europe. The Parthians were tolerant of different religions and cultures, allowing Greek, Jewish, and Zoroastrian communities to thrive alongside each other. In 224 CE, a new dynasty emerged from Persia. Ardashir I overthrew the last Parthian king and established the Sassanid Empire, the longest-lasting Persian empire in history. The Sassanids presided over a renaissance of Persian culture. They rebuilt Persepolis, constructed magnificent temples, and patronized artists and scholars. Zoroastrianism became the state religion, but the empire was remarkably cosmopolitan. Christianity, Judaism, and Buddhism all flourished. The Sassanid era saw extraordinary achievements in science, mathematics, and literature. The game of chess was refined here. Medical knowledge advanced significantly. Persian poetry reached new heights. The empire's greatest rulers included Shapur I, who captured the Roman Emperor Valerian, and Khosrow I, whose reign is considered a golden age of Persian civilization. But the Sassanids faced a new threat from the west. In 632 CE, Arab Muslim armies swept out of Arabia. The last Sassanid emperor, Yazdegerd III, was killed in 651 CE, marking the end of the ancient Persian Empire and the beginning of a new chapter. The Arab conquest transformed Iran fundamentally. Islam replaced Zoroastrianism as the dominant faith, though Zoroastrians persisted as a minority. Persian culture, however, proved remarkably resilient. Rather than being Arabized, Iran Islamicized, absorbing Arabic influences while maintaining a distinct Persian identity. Over the following centuries, various dynasties ruled Iran. The Abbasid Caliphate, while centered in Baghdad, drew heavily on Persian administrative traditions. Persian became the language of poetry, science, and diplomacy throughout the Islamic world. In the 10th and 11th centuries, the Turkic Seljuk Empire brought new rulers from Central Asia. The Seljuks, though originally conquerors, became patrons of Persian culture and architecture. The Mongol invasion of the 13th century brought devastation. Genghis Khan's armies destroyed cities and killed millions. But the Mongol rulers, particularly the Ilkhanate, eventually embraced Persian culture and became patrons of remarkable artistic achievement. The 14th century saw the Black Death devastate Iran, killing up to a third of the population. Then, in the 15th century, a new power emerged from the chaos.
In 1501, Safavid leader Ismail I declared himself Shah of Iran, establishing the Safavid Dynasty, the first independent Persian empire in over 800 years. The Safavids presided over a magnificent cultural flowering. Shah Abbas I, the greatest Safavid ruler, moved the capital to Isfahan and transformed it into one of the world's most beautiful cities. The Imam Square, the Blue Mosque, and the stunning palaces all date from this era. The Safavids also established Twelver Shia Islam as Iran's official religion, a decision that would shape Iran's identity forever. This distinction between Shia Iran and its Sunni neighbors became a fundamental aspect of Iranian identity. The empire reached its peak in the 17th century but began to decline in the 18th century. Afghan invasions, economic troubles, and incompetent rulers weakened the Safavid state. In 1736, Nader Shah, a military genius, overthrew the Safavids and established his own dynasty. The Qajar Dynasty brought stability but also faced enormous challenges. Iran became the playground of great powers, Russia to the north, Britain to the south, both seeking influence and resources. In 1905, the Constitutional Revolution brought demands for democratic reform. A parliament, the Majlis, was established. But foreign powers, particularly Britain and Russia, repeatedly intervened in Iranian affairs. In 1921, a military officer named Reza Khan seized power in a coup. 5 years later, he became Shah, establishing the Pahlavi Dynasty. Reza Shah sought to modernize Iran rapidly, building railways, expanding education, and reducing foreign influence. But his authoritarian style and pro-German sympathies during World War II led to his overthrow. His son, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, took the throne in 1941. The young Shah navigated Iran through the Cold War, nationalizing the oil industry in 1951 under Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, a moment of fierce national pride that was ultimately crushed by a CIA-backed coup in 1953. The Shah's modernization program transformed Iran. The economy grew rapidly, universities expanded, women gained rights, Tehran became a cosmopolitan capital, but inequality grew and political repression intensified. By 1979, opposition had mounted across Iranian society. Islamic clerics, intellectuals, workers, and students united in their demand for change. In January 1979, the Shah fled Iran. On February 1st, Ayatollah Khomeini returned to Tehran after 14 years of exile. The revolution transformed Iran fundamentally. A theocratic constitution was established, creating a unique system where elected presidents and parliaments share power with unelected clerics. The title changed from Shah to Supreme Leader. The early years saw the Iran-Iraq War, 1980 to 1988, a devastating conflict that killed over 1 million people. Iran survived despite international isolation. Since then, Iran has evolved in complex ways. Reformist and conservative presidents have alternated in power. The nuclear program has brought both international tensions and a 2015 deal that lifted sanctions in exchange for nuclear limitations. Today, Iran remains one of the Middle East's most influential nations, with a young population, a rich cultural heritage, and a complex role in regional and global affairs. The story of Iran is a story of empires rising and falling, of cultures clashing and blending, of remarkable achievements and profound challenges. From the Elamites to the Achaemenids, from the Islamic Golden Age to the modern Republic, Iran has continuously reinvented itself while maintaining a distinctive identity. Whatever your perspective on Iran's present, its past is undeniable. Few nations have shaped human civilization as profoundly as this ancient land at the crossroads of history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please like and subscribe for more explorations of the world's great civilizations.